Hi, I'm Donna Druchunas, and in this video I want to show you how to make this little border that has garter stitch and these little picos, or they're actually kind of big picos, loops along the edge. Here I've done it with a hand-painted yarn, so you can see as the colors change. In this case it kind of lines up so that each loop's a different color. That's just an accident, happy accident. But here I'll do it with a single color just to show you how to work the stitch. It's a 10-row repeat, and I'll put the instructions in the notes on this video written out. It's 10-row repeat, so you cast on 4 stitches, and then you're going to, the first row you just knit because it's the very first row of the piece, and it's just like a setup row. Okay, now we'll start the 10-row pattern. So I'm going to leave the yarn in the front. I'm going to slip one purlwise with the yarn in front, then bring the yarn to the back and knit 3. Then I'm going to turn and do row 2 exactly the same. See, my yarn's already in the front when I turn, so I leave it there to slip that first stitch, then bring the yarn to the back and knit 3. So I'm just going to do that for 2 rows. Then row 3 is a special row. It's where you make this piece that's going to become the loop. So I'm going to use the cable cast on and cast on 7 stitches. You could use backward loop cast on if you preferred. Either one works. Cable cast on makes a little bit sturdier piece there. So I just did one, but I didn't show you how I did it. So with cable cast on, what you do is you go between the stitch at the tip of the needle and the previous one, and you stick your needle in there. Then you bring the yarn to the front and then slide it kind of backwards onto the left needle. So again, put the yarn through the front, and I'm carrying with my left hand, but you can throw with your right hand to wrap the yarn around the needle and pull it through. That doesn't matter which hand you use for carrying your yarn. However you normally do it is fine. So I just did 3 stitches, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I just cast it on 7 new stitches. And now guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to bind off those 7 stitches. Let me show you a trick about how to count binding off. This is the first stitch I'm going to bind off, but I don't count it when I knit it. So I just did 1. Now I'm going to count the bind off. I count it when I pass it over. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just doing my regular bind off where I, when I have 2 stitches on the needle, I pass it over. 5, 6, 7. So I cast on 7, bound off 7, remembering to count when I pass it over. I've got 3 stitches left on the next left needle. Whoops. 1 on the right needle, so I knit 3. And I'm back to my 4 stitches, but I have this little tail hanging off. Okay, now rows 4 through 8, I'm going to do that slip 1, knit 3, just like I did on rows 1 and 2. So let me finish rows 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I'll show you what to do for rows 9 and 10. I just finished row 8 and I turned. Now I've still got my little tail thing hanging out here, and I've still got my 4 stitches. So this time I'm going to bring the yarn to the back. I'm not going to be slipping the first stitch of that row. So I'll bring the yarn to the back right away. And now I want to pick up this little tail. And I want to go to the end of it and insert my needle under 2 strands of yarn. See, there's like 2 strands of yarn right there at the end. That makes kind of a loop. If you get 2 different strands, it doesn't matter, so long as it's pretty close to the tip of this piece. I'm going to insert my right needle into those. Then I'm going to knit my first stitch, and I'm going to take those 2 strands of yarn, and this can be a little tricky because they're not a real stitch, but I'm going to pass them over the one I just knit. And then I'm going to finish that row. So that's row 9. Turn, and row 10's a basic row of this pattern. Slip 1, knit 3. Okay, I'm going to turn back. I finished 1 repeat. I'm ready to do row 1 again, and you can see I've got this nice little loop picot thing here and a little piece of garter stitch here with slip stitch edges. And that's all there is to that. Repeat rows 1 to 10 till you have as much as you need for your project.